We now return to Mega March. Plasma Power!
Number 2.
Hello everyone, ColeManX here. Mega Man 8. Talk about a perfect opening. And just to get this out there, my personal preference is the American opening. I think the music matches what's happening on the screen just perfectly. Anyway, this animation is just like so beautiful. Seeing Mega Man take on like a robot master from each of the first 7 games and in this art style is just so cool. Back when I was a kid, I had recorded all of the cutscenes from Mega Man 8 and a certain other game that might be on this list onto a VHS tape just so I could watch them anytime I wanted. They were so cool, and that was like my only option. But man, I would play that tape to death. And just Mega Man's look in Mega Man 8 and just in this art style is probably his best look. I think this art style is just top notch. Like this and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 are just peak Mega Man as far as I'm concerned. And then like later in the cutscene we get looks at Proto Man and Bass and Wily and Roll and Light and just so many different bad guys, and just man, this intro, it just goes so hard. And then there's like the group shot at the end, and you know it's got like Mega Man and Bass and Proto Man and Duo, and it's incredible. And then in the opening cutscene, you know, we get a space battle, sure, but the real highlight is Mega Man versus Bass, and just the song that's playing while they're fighting. It's just, oh, it's so good. It's one of my favorite, if not my absolute favorite, from the Mega Man 8 soundtrack. And then, of course, Bass just jobs out like a jabroni, but man, seeing him animated like this, and, you know, along with the rest of the gang is just, it's really something. I love it so much. Like, I remember seeing screenshots and just daydreaming of what it would look like in motion. And, God, I love the voices in this game. Knowing what went on behind the scenes really adds, you know, a new appreciation for it. And please, if you haven't checked out our interview with Ruth Jarman, the voice of Mega Man, just please check it out. You'll learn a lot about Mega Man 8 and another game.
If Mega Man X4 was the first time that I had seen animation in a Mega Man game, then Mega Man 8 was the second time. I got Mega Man 8 shortly after I had gotten X4, and man, it was really, really cool. As I had mentioned, when I was a kid, I went from X1 to X4, and I never played X2 or X3. So there was like a huge leap going from Mega Man X1 going into X4. Now, Mega Man 8 was my first classic Mega Man game. So I'm watching this animation and I'm just like enamored with it, you know, like I've never seen it before, just like I've never seen anything with X4, and it's doing this really awesome, now I have the, you know, knowledge of foresight, this montage of like Mega Man's adventures up to this point, and I'm just looking at it like, whoa, who are these characters? And like I didn't know what anything was, but I was just so excited to see Mega Man running around, jumping and doing things, and it was just really awesome. Once again, just like in X4, they had like their own music that they composed for it, which I thought was great because it kind of like matches the animation that's on the screen. Now, I'm not sure who composed that, but I'm really glad that they did. Something that we would find out later in the West, because, you know, we had a different sort of thing going for us, is that Capcom would often license out sort of like an official song or something for each game. And so there was one for X4, there was one for Mega Man 8, and those songs were used as the intro music. Now, those are great songs, don't get me wrong, I love them both, especially Electrical Communication, which is from Mega Man 8, but I just didn't feel that it like matched up to the animation, because it kind of felt more like the animation was trying to match up to the song, as opposed to the song being crafted around what's happening on screen. And so in that regard, I really prefer the Western intro. I don't know why, one of the parts that always sticks out to me is just when, like, Charge Man is going along the train tracks, and then it goes to this, like, really jazzy piano solo. Like, that's just really cool. Like, I love that piano. I don't know why pianos and trains just go so well together, but that's basically what's going on there. But I just wanted to say I love electrical communication as well. I'm just going to include the Japanese intro on here just a little bit, just because, like, it's just such an over-the-top, intense song. It goes so hard right from the beginning. And then they reused it again for Super Adventure Rockman, which was actually pretty cool. But, yeah, there's just something really special about seeing these characters animated. And now that I have, now that I know everything about Mega Man today, that I didn't know when I was younger, it's really awesome and really cool just seeing Mega Man kind of, go through, all of his adventures and looking back at all these legacy characters until we get to Mega Man 8, to see where he's at with his current adventure. So that was just really awesome, and the intro to Mega Man 8 will always have a special place in my heart, because I just love seeing the characters move around and express themselves and do things in a way that we've never been able to see them do in just static artwork.
My very first exposure to Mega Man 8's awesome opening animation led to a little squabble with my brother and I. Growing up, we played Mega Man games together. We would literally sit next to each other and, watch each other play, criticize each other play. When we got to a boss fight, one of us would fight the boss and the other would go and hide and pray that we'd do well. But when we first booted up Mega Man 8, the first couple sounds you hear of that music kind of booting up, I think of it fondly because I was playing, but my brother reached over for the controller for whatever reason, and he accidentally bumped one of the shoulder buttons on the PlayStation. And for whatever reason, pressing any button whatsoever would skip that opening. So I was excited coming off of X4, like, oh boy, another anime opening, and he reaches over and does something stupid. And I missed it for the first time. And I was like, oh my god, It was a little problem, whatever, but I remember refusing to start the game, thereby delaying his turn to play until I would restart the entire thing and just watch that opening. And boy, what an opening. Like X4 and pretty much every opening animated video, Mega Man, whatever, it had a different song than the Japanese version. And this is one of those instances, like X4, where I kind of prefer what we got. I absolutely love the music here. I think it just complements the images perfectly. There's so much to take in. We get to see like these reinterpretations of Mega Man's different encounters with different Robot Masters across the series. Like for example, like we got Charge Man literally charging at Mega Man on like a railroad track. And that clearly doesn't happen in the game. But it's cool to see, whoever was in charge of the directing these scenes, the vision was to reinterpret how these legacy battles took place and where they took place. So I always thought that was really neat. There's just like the shot of the Mecha Dragon kind of looming over the city was just so cool and so far removed from the pitch black, boring background of Mega Man 2 with just the blocks. It makes you wonder, like, was it always intended to be a city that this fight took place? But I love this one for how inventive and imaginative it is, and in honor of the games came for it. It's so cool, and it's Mega Man really kicks some Robo butt here, and I think there's one point, where he like lifts Gutsman above his head, or a boulder. No, the boulder. He lifts a boulder. No, Gutsman lifts a boulder. Anyway, clearly I'm not watching at this moment. But trust me, it is memorable. I do remember it very well. And I can say this for many of these openings. It always puts a smile on my face. Yeah. Love it.
Howdy folks, ShadowRock here, and here we are, the cream of the crop, the top two. And boy, is Mega Man 8 a heck of a place to start. I recall finding my copy of Mega Man 8 at my local video game / card shop, the very same one I got games like X4 from. Specifically, I picked up the 10th anniversary edition on the PlayStation 1. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, Mega Man's been around for 10 years? Wild. After all, Mega Man X was already a thing by the time I was born. We actually ended up with 2 copies of Mega Man 8 among the family. One for me and one for my uncle. So I do have fond memories of playing the game both at my house and then whenever I visited my grandparents. And every time you boot up Mega Man 8, you have to watch that opening. It's so good, no matter if you watch it with electrical communication or not. Because in my opinion at least, the English background music does fit the visuals quite nicely, as is usually the case with the openings of this era. Now, the primary reason why Mega Man 8's opening stands out so much to us is because you may have noticed throughout our series so far, I would say this opening is amazing, but there's a caveat. X5's is a glorified slideshow. X7 and X8 just mostly use gameplay footage. Or maybe the opening is just too basic. However, with Mega Man 8 and other Mega Man games that came out around this time, you're dealing with completely original Japanese animation, created from the ground up for the game. It's kind of like watching an anime. And this anime opening for Mega Man 8 is quite something special. Like I said, it was the 10th anniversary game, so obviously you had to have a bunch of references from past Mega Man games. Similar in concept to the Mega Man X3 PlayStation 1 opening actually. Mega Man 8 does a good job of showing you the past events of the series leading up to now. And more faithfully than X3's did, might I add. So hey, let's give it a watch and see what kind of references we can pick out. Now, the starting sequence of the opening is a great tone setter. The bass, or you could say the bass of the music drops. And you get to check out silhouettes of all of Mega Man's features one by one. And just check out the shine, the features, man. The Mega Buster! And then, wait, no, not a charge shot! Oh hey, welcome to Mega Man 8. The music ramps up, you see Mega Man flying on Rush, you get a little shot of Roll and Dr. Light. Oh hey, Roll got the new Superior design. God, the animation in this is so cool, I wish we could see it in higher quality. Some fans have attempted to make it look HD, but man, would it be cool to have the original files to work with. Then here come the references to past games, starting in Mega Man 1, Gutsman throwing the boulder, Mega Man being like, now I got your power, without copying your power. Switching on over to Mega Man 2 in a cityscape against Quickman, Mega Man 3, Snake Man on top of the Snake mini-boss that shoots actual flamethrowers. I won't lie, it took me a little bit to realize what this boss was supposed to be because it really looks nothing like the Mega Man 3 counterpart. The next shots, they cheat a little bit with Pharaoh Man and Charge Man in one scene to represent Mega Man 4 and 5. Mega Man just throws Charge Man into Pharaoh Man. Hey, that's not accurate to the games. But that's okay, it's an opening. Next is Mega Man 6 with Tomahawk Swing, baby! Mega Man 7, Mega Man finds himself in the graveyard, Shademan picks him up, Rush rescues him. That's a cute interaction. Where's the ghosts and goblins though? And that brings us to the present, doesn't it? This next shot, it was always very amusing to me. Protoman turns around and then most of his body disappears except for his face and the shades of course. And then all the main cast slides in underneath his shades. It looks cool in motion, but if you pause the video at any point, it just looks like a weird but amusing Photoshop. Moving along. Hey, Bass! Dr. Wally! There's the Skull Castle, and then here's some of the castle bosses from past games. Like the Yellow Devil, of course, and the Dragon from Mega Man 2. Wily Machine 4, I believe? And then we get on towards the end, Mega Man running against his very bright background. Like, good grief, if you stared at that for too long, you would go blind. But it sure is flashy for the 90s. Also, when you see Mega Man up close like this, running, look at those defined muscles, man. It's not Ruby Spears muscles, mind you, but it's getting closer to the idea. To answer the question, do you lift, bro? Yes, Mega Man does. followed by even more references. Lots of Robot Masters from all the games, and then Mega Man has to protect Roll from all of them. Poor guy, it's already pretty rough fighting a bunch of Robot Masters at once, but he has to do an escort mission in the middle of it too. Finally, one more, not a charge shot, and bam! There's all of our main characters. Wait, who's that dude in the background? I've never seen him before. Well, you have to play Mega Man 8 to find out. That's the fun of it. And why did they include a random Met in the last shot? Because Mets are cool, man. Shut up. But yeah, this is thumbnail material right here. Overall, really good opening. It's very entertaining to watch Mega Man fight all the Robot Masters and other things throughout this opening. The music hypes up the ante. And what can I really say? It's mega-tastic. Speaking of cringe, here comes the actual game when you begin. Mega Man 8! So the actual game begins with a bit of a slow burn. You have the evil robot, and then the good robot guy, which we find out later is Duo, duking it out in space. And there's no dialogue here, it's very quiet. And you wonder to yourself, what are these guys saying? So anyway, you guys know the rest. Using the same animation over and over again as they approach the Earth. The music is really intense for some reason. And then finally we get to the good part. Hey Bass, why must we fight each other? We are not enemies! Shut up! Gotta love the voice acting. It just makes it, man. It's one of those things where it's just so corny you can't help but laugh at it. In a good way, of course. The interaction between Mega Man and Bass here is really funny too. Classic goody two-shoes hero versus the very edgy anti-hero. Still corny, but very entertaining. Anyway, our favorite is Elmer Fuddlight.
Something this powerful must not fall into the hands of evil.
But anyway, that's Mega Man 8. Awesome intro. Kind of a boring intro cutscene, but then it gets really funny, so it's alright. I just love Mega Man 8 so much. Some of it is nostalgia, yes. But I do truly believe it is a fun game when you actually sit down and play it and look past all of the questionable voice acting. Which honestly, in hindsight and thanks to Cole Fame here's interview, we now know that it wasn't really the voice actor's fault in the beginning. That's why you need good voice directors too, people. To be fair as well, this was the awkward period when video game companies were not putting in a lot of effort and money, not to mention, into the voice acting of their games. They did it for the wow factor, to enhance the story and all, but it would be a little bit longer until companies like Capcom started to take the voice acting business more seriously, as is evidenced by games like Mega Man 8 and X4. But that is a story for another time. So, I will leave you with Duo screaming hilariously.